Hello comrades, you watching Red Ivan Airsoft, and today we'll talk about uniforms and equipment of the Croat from HVO during the Bosnian War. In the beginning, I want to say thank you to my subscriber Kruschiki and the group Balkan Storm for help with this video. First, it is crucial to understand what the HVO is, how it differs from HV, and why there are so many different Croats. Before Yugoslavia's dissolution in August 1990, the HDZ party won the elections in Croatia and began implementing measures that were unpopular with local Serbs. In response, local Serbs decided to hold on the referendum for autonomy, which the Croatians attempted to suppress with the help of the special police forces and volunteers. I think I already saw something like this somewhere. Anticipating that the conflict would only escalate, the Yugoslav army decided to disarm the local territorial defense units. In response, the Croats doubled the size of their interior ministry forces. By May 1991, these forces were reorganized into the Croatian National Guard, ZNG. By September 1991, based on ZNG, the Armed Forces of Croatia, or Hrvatska Vojska, or HV, were formed. So what is HVO? HVO stands for Croatian Defense Council, essentially militarized assembly of the Croats living in Bosnia. Croatian leadership began forming and supplying this organization in 1991, and during the Bosnian War from 1992 to 1995, HV servicemen were also sent to serve in HVO. Generally, the HV often acted alongside with HVO. Up until 1994, it was everyone against everyone in Bosnia. The HVO fighting the Muslims over Mostar, Serbs besieging Sarajevo. However, in 1994, during the Washington Agreement, the Croats and Muslims were told that fighting everyone against everyone was wrong, and the right way it should be everyone against the Serbs. Then the HVO was partially merged with Army of Bosnia and Herzegovina, after which happy Muslims even allowed the armed forces of Croatia to move through their territory to fight the Serbs too. As you noticed, the HVO alternated between the fighting against the Muslims and being a part of the army of Bosnia and Herzegovina. HVO is not the same as HV, but it was supplied from Croatia, and some HV soldiers served in HVO. And by the end, the HVO directly supported the HV operations. In this video, we'll focus solely on the uniforms and equipment of HVO. My set approximately represents the equipment used in 1993, but we will talk about the equipment through the entire war period from 1992 to 1995, without the specific reference to any unit. And let's start with uniforms. Headgear, first American BDU cap in woodland camouflage pattern, alongside with its local copies. And USMC cap. I saw different generations, old olive caps, as well as woodland like this. Caps featured Croatian insignia. Less frequently, Yugoslav caps with Croatian insignia could also be seen. Black berets, black headbands with checkerboard patterns called shahevica, olive bandanas, and various civilian headwear, ranging from baseball caps and Nazi field pig caps to sombreros. Uniforms. Mostly, Croats wore woodland camouflage, including American BDUs and M65 jackets, as well as their own copies. At some point, they also started to wear Bosnian woodland. Jackets and trousers from Bosnian and Croatian production closely mimic the original. However, Bosnian versions sometimes have snap buttons instead of traditional buttons on the pockets. Bosnian and Croatian products have slightly different camouflage pattern, and in my opinion, the Bosnian fabric is thicker. In contrast to the Americans, Croats and Muslims also produced shorts in woodland. In my setup, I use American BDU trousers and Croatian shirt. This standard shirt has shoulder straps and two chest pockets. The left chest pocket is double, and has an opening for the pen in the flap. The pockets close with a single button, and there is an HVO patch sewn on the sleeve. Once again, on the most pictures you see the Croat fighters, you see them wearing woodland camouflage pattern, no matter local or American, but there were also some other options which we'll discuss right now. The second most common variant was East German uniform. Since Germany strongly supported Croatian independence, arguably even more than the US, Yugoslav M89 camouflage also could be seen. The Serbian or Yugoslav tiger pattern, which was worn by the Ministry of Internal Affairs units during the Yugoslav times, and primarily by Bosnian Serbs after the outbreak of the war. Fighters were sometimes seen in a variety of olive uniforms. Less frequently, British DPM was encountered, and Chris even managed to find one photo of the Slovenian camouflage, but let's not delve into rare cases. Belts. And we will discuss belts in this video twice, because belt can be used as a trousers belt, as well as a basis for the load-bearing equipment. Mostly as a trousers belt were used Yugoslavian officer's belt, like the one you see in my hands right now, as well as the enlisted version. Also there were belts from the Ellis system, M1956 belts, British belts, and an interesting Croatian produced belt with a British style buckle, and a grommeted belt similar to an American one. Similar belts were also produced by Serbian Mile Dragic. Footwear. Most of the time Yugoslav army boots were used, as well as US Army jungle boots and American leather boots. A vast array of civilian models, from sneakers to boots, and million different boots from sympathetic countries. Body armor, and let's start with helmets. The most common helmet was American M1 helmet with woodland cover, or less frequently with Mitchell pattern cover, like the one I have. Pasgat helmets were also used, Yugoslav M59/85 and its Kevlar variant M89, East German M56, and even Soviet SH-40 were used. Helmets from neighbors such as Polish, Bulgarian, Hungarian and Romanian could also be seen. Body armor vests. Body armor vests were not often worn in this conflict, because Croats, like other Yugoslavs in this conflict, had +100 to defense and +60 to charisma. However, whenever the body armor vest was used, typically it was Pasgat vest in woodland camouflage pattern. I also came across earlier M69 body armor vest from the Vietnam era, Yugoslav Barova Type 3 body armor vest in DPM camouflage pattern. In principle, all 5 versions of Barova vest were probably used. Last year, while planning this video, I came across the footage of a Croat wearing Soviet 6B3 body armor vest, which seems like a special delivery from Ukrainian or Russian peacekeepers. Load carrying systems and vests. Beside the American Ellis system, Croatian made suspenders for the Ellis system were also used, and they were typically worn with this belt we discussed earlier, with British style buckle and American eyelets. Of course, Yugoslavian LBE components, particularly pouches and other elements of Yugoslav military equipment were used. Chinese Chicom rigs and local versions of Chinese type rigs were employed. Various elements of East German military gear were common, especially magazine pouches. But the most widespread load-carrying vest was a Croatian-made version in woodland camouflage. The first versions of those vests were introduced for the needs of the Croatian army in 1991, and they did not have the mesh inserts. The second version with the mesh inserts was produced until the end of the war without any changes, or even later. I do not know when they start the production of the second generation, but considering the fact that plenty of them could be seen used by HVO in around January of 1993, make me guess that probably the production of these vests began in 1992. The vest features zipper closure. There are two D-rings for grenades or other equipment on the shoulders. On the left shoulder there is a small snap button pocket. Below on each side there are pockets with velcro closure, similar in shape but different in size. And there is an elastic band inside the right one. Moving down, on the right and left sides, there are three pouches capable of holding 2 AK magazines each. This setup allows the vest to carry up to 12 AK magazines. Around the button perimeter there are belt loops, all equipped with snap buttons. The vest's widths can be adjusted with the drawstrings and grommets on each side, and the height is adjustable with velcro strap under the shoulder pads. There is a large pocket on the back, closed with velcro. Above this pocket there is a segmented strap for additional gear. On the left and right inner sides there are pockets for documents, closed with velcro. Backpacks. Of course, the most common was the old good backpack of the Yugoslav army. However, there was also a Croatian version in woodland camouflage. According to the internet, the Croatian version of the backpack was produced since 1991. However, I have never seen any of them in use in HVO until around 1993, and even after, they were very rare seen in the HVO and HV units up until 1995. Canteens. They have been more variants, but these two were the most popular. First one is Yugoslavian canteen, and this is basically a combination of the canteen and the mess kit. It has one big cup made of plastic, smaller cup made of plastic canteen itself, and bigger aluminum pot. There was also a knife and the fork and the spoon, but I don't have them handy. And it is all carried in this gray GNA pouch. But this is not that convenient, so for my set I prefer to carry this American canteen in the Alice pouch, which can be easily attached to the belt. Commanders often used Yugoslav Zrak binoculars RD7x40. With my equipment I also use Soviet bayonet for AKM 6H4 or 6H4. They were used during the conflict, but quite rarely. Therefore, if you are building this setup from scratch, it is better to use a Yugoslavian bayonet, which is the same but black. Small arms. Talking about Croats in this context is quite complicated, because they had an extensive variety of arms. I will try to provide a complete list of the most interesting firearms, but I am 100% sure that it is impossible to list everything. And let's start with assault rifles. All models of Yugoslav clones of the Kalashnikov were used. I choose the most widespread and iconic underfolder M70AB2, and this is not the real firearm YouTube. This is an airsoft toy by LCT. The second, if not the most iconic among Croatians, were Romanian Kalashnikovs such as PMMD 63, PMMD 65 and PMMD 90. Hungarian Kalashnikovs were also present, including AK-63F, AK-63D, as well as AMD 65. Polish AKM and AKMS were also used and are distinguishable by their brighter pistol grips. Chinese Type 56 and Type 56-1 were used as well. Also, I found several articles about deliveries of firearms to the Croats from the Baltic states. So in some quantities Croats also had Soviet AKMs and other Soviet firearms. The Croatians had German Kalashnikovs, both 7.62 versions like MPI KM72 and MPI KMS72, and 5.45 rifles MPI AK-74. Bulgarian AKs also appeared in the photos. Rifles. from the old good Kar 98 and Yugoslav version of the SKS to G3, FN FAL and even M16A2, submachine guns, and of course the most canonical and dear to Croatians was the American M18 Thompson, about which they sang a songs. Also PPSH 41, M56, Uzis, most likely German made and later locally made, and MP5s were used. And also locally made Czechoslovakian Scorpion, if it can be considered as a submachine gun, as in Western classification it is usually considered to be a machine pistol. Machine guns: M53, which is the Yugoslav MG42, M72, which is Yugoslav RPK, M84, the Yugoslav PKM, the classic PKM, and most likely this one is a Soviet made, from the exotic, the Singaporean Ultimax 100. The main sniper rifle was the Yugoslavian M76, but I am pretty sure that during this conflict there were also some Kar 95 based sniper rifles, G3 based sniper rifles, and some sniper rifles from the Eastern Bloc. I never saw an SVD, but I am pretty sure that the Romanian PSL was used. Pistols: good old M57, which is a Yugoslav Tokarev clone with a magazine that holds 9 rounds. M70, which is a compact Tokarev. In one video I even saw a Croatian HVO fighter holding a late Yugoslavian CZ99 pistol. CZ because Červena zastava, which is red flag in Serbo-Croatian. Grenade launchers: RPG-7, RBG-6 and various other Yugoslav grenade launchers. Now let's see how it all looks together. So I hope you like this video, subscribe to my channel, put like, comment, share this video with friends. If you want to support channel financially, links are in the description. Now we also have YouTube tips and YouTube subscriptions. So please join us and see you next time.